You guys, I am so excited for this. Welcome to Grace Through Pain, a journey to hope. Today is our first guest. We're finally having a guest. I can't wait. And this is huge because there's just so much we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the half marathon. I can believe because anything is possible, but I completed my first half marathon. It was a wild ride, and my good friend Kyle, I can't wait to just dive into how we know each other, how we met. He is a marathon runner, but he was recently diagnosed with MS, and so this was his first race since being diagnosed. And so we were there in Disney together. Not in the same kind of corral or starting group, but we were checking on each other and talking the entire time via text and sending photos. And so he's here now today to just kind of share his experience and just the difference in kind of knowing what was happening with his body before MS to now with MS and taking on something like this amazing achievement. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring him on in. Okay, I can't wait for you guys to meet him. He's amazing. Hey, friend.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe you did this.
I can't believe I did it either.
We did this, you guys. We have this.
Oh, I didn't bring my medal.
Where's your medal? Well, he has it. I'll show you guys the photo. You'll see that all. If you guys are watching, I was just holding up our gorgeous Princess Tiana medal, but it'll be in the show notes, as well as you'll see some photos that are going to be running through here as well if you're watching us. And if you're listening, we have Kyle here. Hello. Oh, look at you, beautiful. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. I'm still I'm in Disney depression right now, like a deep Disney depression.
Every time it hits, it's just like, okay, what do they say when you're leaving Disney, you're planning the next trip? That's the only way to get through it is like, okay, when are we coming back? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into all of the things of Disney, let's first start with each other. So we met during the pandemic. I mean, this was deep in the pandemic, and
oh yeah,
our good friend, who I still have never met, but she's in your real life, friend,
my
Maggie.
Dearest of dear friend.
Yes,
Maggie Young. She introduced us.
We both were starting our YouTube channels. Mine was, of course, Marty's MS Life, and then yours was. I loved it because it was this kind of, mosh pit of Bravo and Disney.
Bravo and Disney, my two things that I love so dearly.
Same. And so when Maggie, who I met on Instagram, was like, "Oh, you need to meet my friend Kyle, you need to follow him," I was like, "Oh, say less." I was like, "This is an easy one to tune into." Sometimes you're like, "Okay, let me be nice and watch," but I was like, "Oh, I'm all in." Like the Disney recipes. She would, it was like a little cooking show, and then you actually hosted. I had mentioned earlier this amazing mocktail hour.
Yes, with Margaret Joseph.
That was so much fun. And you invited me and my girlfriends, and was it her mocktail line? Or I don't remember what was that?
So it was this brand called Mingle Mocktails that she partnered with. And funny story, Bethany Frankel is now partnered with them.
No.
Yeah, and it's taken off.
What? So kind of like a skinny girl mocktail?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah, so she's their new spokesperson.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I know.
I mean, they were tasty. I mean,
they were so good.
Did a charcuterie, and we had all this stuff. We were in the vineyard and logged in, and Margaret was
she was so sweet.
She was so
sweet.
I felt like we were with a girlfriend. I'm such a fan of hers. I watch Housewives of New Jersey with just a different lens now. I'm like Team Margaret, regardless of anything she does.
I know. That's the thing. I'm like, I can't ever not love her.
I know. I'm like, well, she had a reason. Or, oh, no. Let's give some drinks, right?
Exactly.
So I was like, I'm Team Margaret all day. So that was how we, again, all
Yeah.
virtually that
All virtually.
we became friends. And then I hated it when Maggie messaged me because I would never want to welcome anyone into this particular champion circle of MS.
Mm-hmm.
You got diagnosed recently with
Yeah.
multiple sclerosis.
Yeah. Almost a year ago.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
tell us about it.
Oh
What
my
did you
gosh.
have out of the blue? Did you have symptoms previously?
Out of the blue. So it's so crazy. A year ago, I always thought I had, what is it, carpal tunnel, right?
Okay.
My hands would get really, mainly my right hand would get really tingly, really numb. And it started as that. I'm like, oh, whatever, it's fine. And then it kind of went up my arm, down my face, down through my legs. I'm like, this is not good.
Wow.
And took myself, I was at work when all of this happened. I'm like, I'm just not feeling the best. Something feels off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like sitting at my desk, and this is when I still worked in retail, and I couldn't concentrate at all. I'm like, no, this just feels really funky. Took myself to the urgent care, was seen there, and the doctor's like, oh yeah, you had a stroke. I'm like,
right.
Come
they
again.
Always think you had a stroke.
Come
That's
again.
The first thing.
I'm like, I'm dying. This is it.
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Wow.
So
That's
my
terrifying.
aunt, luckily, is a NP who specializes in like neurology.
Okay.
So she's like, come by my office. Let me take a look at you. I'm like, okay. She did all the tests, the reflex tests, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, just keep an eye on it. And when after everything was all said and done, she's like, oh yeah, I kind of figured that's what it was going to be, but I didn't want to be the person to say that.
Wow.
She's like, just keep an eye on it. And a few days went by and nothing got better. Took myself to the ER, this time the hospital, and they did an MRI on me. And I am nosy. So I went on my little app and I wanted to see like the notes.
What'd you find? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They said they found masses that were concerning. I'm like, what does this mean? But it didn't say that. It said something like medically that right over my head.
Sure.
Right over my head. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't good. I'm like, this is weird. And they're like, yeah, we have to admit you. I'm like, what? So I was in the hospital for 5 days.
Yeah.
I had multiple MRIs. I had the spinal tap, which is awful.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And after all of that was said and done, they're like, we believe that your diagnosis is you have MS. So I had...
Well, I want to pause you there because, we all have had similar experiences. And I think it clicks into the denial because you're never told, there's not like a test for MS.
Yeah.
There isn't something definitive that says like you have MS. It's like, we reasonably believe, or, these signs point to a multiple sclerosis diagnosis. And so was it confusing for you? I was confused. I was like, so are you telling me
I
might not have this, or,
So I just want to preface what I'm saying with, I am very fortunate to have someone in my family that was able to pull a lot of strings. Okay. And I know that a lot of people that are newly diagnosed have to go through a lot more than what I have gone through to get to the other end of, this is what you have, here are your treatments. Because I had that, I was sort of fast-tracked. Gotcha. And right when I got out of the hospital, I literally got my first dose of Tysabri.
Oh, wow. Wow, I was 3-4 months.
Yeah, like I got out. I was able to finish my steroids out of the hospital in outpatient at the clinic that my aunt used to work at. She already has set me up with a neurologist that she worked at. So like all of this stuff was like lined up, and
but that also happened. To happen that quickly, though, I feel like you just didn't even have
my whole
time
life
to process.
Changed.
Yeah,
and I couldn't walk. I could walk, but I couldn't walk. Like, it was very difficult. And I spent months just on the couch.
Yeah.
Just on the couch.
Our friend Maggie that we mentioned, who I think at this point she still has a diagnosis of MS, but it's a little, it's very
convoluted.
Unique,
Yeah.
But I'm sure being her close friend and knowing everything that she went through, I'm sure that anxiety, played a part too, right? Of 100%. Like, is this now me?
Yep. Like, I see, your posts and her posts. I'm like, all this went through my mind. I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm never going to be able to work in retail again. I'm like, I need to get a new job, which fortunately I did, which I wanted to do that.
Which you did. Yeah, it was time for you to go anyway. Yeah. We were celebrating that. Yeah.
That chapter's done. But, I started to feel a lot better after my, probably third round of Tysabri. I started to feel more like myself.
Okay. And Tysabri's once a month, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Once a month. However, I won't be able to be on that forever because I did test positive for the JVC.
Yes. I tested positive for it out the gate.
Yep. So I have that. So after 2 years, I have another year left. Then
they're going to have to switch board.
You. Okay. Yep. They'll switch me to something new. And, I'm like, whatever. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm kicking.
I mean, you're killing it. I mean, you really took it, I don't want to say in stride because that's not the truth, but I think similar to your transition into going to treatment, you started a new Instagram handle. You just like dived right in, and I just was so, in awe of you and inspired and impressed because you really have taken this kind of just head on. And for me, I was in deep denial. I got really, really sick after my first diagnosis because I wouldn't accept it. So I wouldn't go to the doctor. I wouldn't follow up or do treatment because I just didn't want to believe it. And I was getting really, really sick. And finally, my neurologist had said that if I did not begin, and start, that I couldn't be in her care anymore. Because she's like, I'm not going to watch you, die. So it's either, you need to activate. And so I just was so just inspired by you that you really took this on with everything that was probably going through your mind. And I know that you're engaged and, I really wanted to hear how did he take it? I always want to talk to we have so many people that listen that are either caregivers or part of the support system that listen in for tips and just kind of want to know. And so, what was his?
I think he took it worse than I did because in his mind, he thinks, all right, I now need to be like, I need to prepare. Like, what if you can't ever work again? Then I need to work extra hard to
take all that on,
all of that on and be the financial, sole breadwinner. I hate that word, but breadwinner of the house.
Yeah.
And me, I'm very much like an optimistic person.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's gonna be fine. Like, I'm gonna be fine. Because that's always my attitude.
Yeah.
With everything, it's like, I'm gonna be fine. It could be worse. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine.
Yes. Same. Because it will be. It has to be. It will be. It has to be. Yes. All of the things. But he took it. It was a little harder for him.
It was a little harder for him. But I want to share something that my ER doctor said in the ER when he first said, like, it might be MS. This is before all the tests happened, but he's like, it pretty much is this.
Yeah.
He said, if this is the worst speed bump you have in your life, you're going to be just fine.
Okay. Wow.
I'm like, okay. All right.
Okay.
And it really stuck with me.
And you just kind of carried that with you.
Yep. I'm like, okay, I can do hard things.
And great transition as you talk about doing hard things. I can't believe we did a fucking marathon.
Girl,
Like, who's like, oh, this is a good idea. This is something we should do.
let's wake up at 2 a.m.
Let's do it. Why not? No, but so you are a runner, though.
I am a runner.
So you started running marathons. When did you get? When did you get bit by this bug to run, to be a long distance runner?
2020.
Okay.
2020, during the pandemic, every damn thing shut down. I was at home. I'm like, I'm just going to start running.
Yeah.
It's literally my therapy.
Wow.
I'm able to like get that quote unquote runner's high.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Marty, I love to dissociate from everything, and running, I can dissociate the pain from like everything else.
Okay. Wow.
I'm like able to like get myself in, like I'm only focusing on my music and my breathing, and I don't focus on anything else.
Anything else. Yeah. It's not the same at all, but I get lost in baking, like in recipes, because, you can't look at your phone. You can't, you're just very focused on, okay, what is like the next step?
Yep.
So I can see how, and running is similar in that way of it just blocks everything out.
It blocks everything out.
Yeah. So you just fell in love with it in 2020.
Fell in love with it. And all the races like stopped. Like I had some races like lined up. Nothing like Run Disney or anything, but like a few races lined up because I'm like, I'm going to do my first race. And they all got canceled. And me and my aunt, I think it was 2021, we signed up for the rock and roll DC
I saw
Marathon.
That. Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Okay.
We did 3 of those, and probably 2022, 2023, I signed up. No, 2023, the summer of 2023, I signed up for the Run Disney. I'm like, I'm doing it.
Yes.
I'm doing it. And I signed up.
Wow. Okay. So now I had so much anxiety about, the balloon ladies, which I'm going to show you guys a clip of them, we're sweeping you off of.
The balloon ladies.
If you see a balloon, you're not going fast enough. It might be over for you. And the fact that there's like a white van on the side of the road to take you away. I was like,
that's nerve-wracking.
It felt more like Pleasantville than Disney with the setup that they had. So it's like, I'm like, I don't want to get caught by these balloon ladies.
Yep.
I want to finish. There's all of these, just anxious. And I knew I was not going fast enough. So guys, the great thing about the Disney race is there's characters, every, I don't know, half a mile or so.
Every couple of miles, there's
something there for you to stop and take a photo with. I knew that my time, I would not be able to do that. I wouldn't have enough time to be able to stop. But I still screamed when I saw Mirabelle. It was still amazing.
Yep.
But you're having all these thoughts. And so for you though, having, I'm sure, was there any grief in the fact that you weren't going to be running the race maybe as you had in past years? Was that in your mind at all, or were you just excited, or what were your thoughts going into this?
So when I was training for it, I didn't train the way I wanted to train. It took me a really long time to get myself motivated to get back out there.
Okay. What was holding you back, you think?
I think a little bit of fear, because every time I did try to run, I didn't run the way I used to run.
Right.
I'm like, okay. So then I really started to train probably like 4 to 5 weeks before we left.
Okay.
I'm like, and I just, in my right leg, I felt it like in my shins. They started to hurt a lot more than they used to. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what if this happens during the race? What if I can't finish? What if like it hurts too badly?
Right.
I'm like, no, you're going to dissociate. You make too much money.
Right. That part.
You are going to do this.
Yeah. So your training was about 4 or 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
Did you do anything different in terms of what you had on you to help with? Like, did you have more braces? Was there anything that you needed to do?
I didn't do or wear anything differently than what
Okay.
I normally did. I still did my same routine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt it probably around mile 9 or 10.
Okay.
I felt
Things
myself
went bad
kind
for
of
me
like
around mile 8 was when it went downhill.
overheating a little bit.
Yeah, overheating. It was this, the sun had come out by that point.
And we
weren't
can
running
talk
in the
about
dark
this
anymore.
Yep. We'll talk about this when we get to the park section, but I started to feel myself get overheated, and I started to feel myself get really nauseous.
Yeah.
Really, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can finish this. And then I remembered I had gummy bears in my bag. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me eat some of those.
Yeah.
Drink all the water I can on every single
every
stop. I'm like, water.
Oh, I took it every time.
Yep.
I was like, I took water. I took Powerade. I was like, this is happening. Like, I'm going to any type of hydration.
Yep. And as little as that might sound, like that gummy bear, it really helped because it gave me that little bit of sugar that I needed to like cut through that nausea.
Yes, exactly.
And the water, and then I'm like, I'm just going to stop for a character. I'm just going to get in line.
Yeah, okay, take a break.
Take a break. And that helped. And it helped. Gave me that little tiny bit of like
just kind of get you going. I remember when we were texting, and I think you were at mile 9, and I was like, listen, you're basically a 3K. I was like, you just like a little bit more, or 5K, if you think about it that way.
Yep.
For me, it was definitely just 1 mile at a time. I didn't look at the 13, it was like, I just have to get to mile 9. I just have to get to mile 10 and just kind of keep doing it that way. And I mean, I had a lot more probably preparedness, I think, because the way that my symptoms, just present themselves, there's just a lot going on. And so I was like, okay, I had some meds with me. My nausea really can't come back from it without Zofran, if it kicks in. So I had that in my fanny pack. I had those little, you slurp them, the little electro, like chia seeds thingies. I had like 5, I'd had that maybe every 30 minutes. I would, when I would be walking, I would kind of slurp those up. I had, obviously all of the water, so it was definitely like, okay, I've got to kind of keep myself hydrated, keep eating, there was just a lot. I was like, I'm snacking. Like I had some nuts, like there was a whole thing in this bag. Okay. Like, it was like, I'm going to get through this. I was like, oh, it's time for some cashews.
We gotta snack during this.
Listen, this is the only way we're going to
We need food.
We need food. So someone next to me was like, oh, I'm like pulling out. And I'm like, this is how I'm going to get through this. And so, my fanny pack was definitely loaded, with things. And I was wrapped up. I had, to try to help the shins and my ankles. So I get foot drop, which is for those of you that don't know it. It almost looks kind of like you are walking and your foot is dragging behind you. You can't really pick it up. Is what it is. And so the heat is what exacerbates that for me, which is why, and when we get to the park, we'll talk about it. The reason why I usually bring a scooter into the park is because Florida is so hot that I'm not necessarily tired or can't walk, but then when the heat starts to kick in, the foot drop happens and then I can't walk. So that's usually why I'm in the electric scooters when I go to the park, is because the heat just exacerbates that foot drop. So as soon as that sun kind of peaked up and I was like, I'm only at mile 8, I was like, oh, this is about to turn in a different direction. And, it definitely did. But I think that, like you said, you disassociate. And I was like, my a good friend, a mentor of mine, she climbed Kilimanjaro.
No way.
A couple years ago. I know. She's like in her 60s and did this. Okay. But she was like, I know. I was like, okay. She was like, you know what? That was your ego. She was like, you weren't about to be, I was like, I'm not getting swept at mile 10. Like, there's no, like, this has to get finished. I was like, these balloon ladies can fuck off.
Right, exactly.
That is not what's happening here. So
No.
you're going to pick up this foot.
And you're going to finish.
And we're going to finish this. So I remember my mom was kind of near mile 13, and before I'd seen the Magic Kingdom, I'd waved at them and stopped and tried to hug them. This, I just kind of was like, hey, kept going. I was like, I'm not, like, I got to get to the end of this. And we're finishing. Like, this, we came too far. If mile 3, if it had happened, maybe I would have been like, okay, it wasn't in the cards,
not meant to be today.
Not mile 10. I was like,
no, not mile 10. Mile 10 is like you drag your body
exactly
to that finish line.
Right, exactly. So it was, but it was, what did you think about the race in general? I mean, you were running with, were you guys together, or did you separate when the race started?
Separated when the race started. So it was me and my friend Kayla.
Okay.
And we were in the same corral, luckily.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, bless someone I know.
Yeah.
Cool. And then she did the whole challenge.
Okay. So, and what is the challenge? So everybody knows.
5K, 10K, half marathon.
Literally 3 days of running.
I'm like, how?
It's, what is it, 19 miles? 19.3 miles?
19 point something miles.
Ooh.
I'm like, go off. Okay.
Wow.
So
you guys were in the same group.
Yep, same group. When it started, I kind of like, we just...
Yeah, just, naturally.
I'm a solo runner. I can't, I need to be in my own zone. I'm not one of those chatty Cathys.
I can't talk to you. Yeah, that's
like,
not.
No.
Can't do that. No.
We're not talking. So
was it the two of you?
It was the two of us. Yep.
Okay. Nice.
So that
was
she
done Run Disney before? Was
yes.
this her first? Okay.
This was her. She's like a veteran.
Okay. All right. So we were babies. We were the newbies.
We were the newbies.
But it was people were so I was by myself, and my friend Katie was supposed to do it with me, but us chronically ill folks, she wound up having a surgery that she wasn't able to train, and so she's fine, she's good, but she couldn't come down, good. And so, but everyone was so lovely.
So
I met
nice.
So many people along the way, and it was the energy. It was
the energy was amazing. I loved all the characters. I loved running through Magic Kingdom.
Seeing that castle.
That was the highlight.
So I don't know if you saw it, but you guys, there was this I don't know if it was like a tour group of people that were walking and running, and if to a certain pace. I don't know if you saw that, but basically someone had a little stand thing, and it would be 3 hours and 30 minutes. And that group, if you listened to them and walked and ran when they said, you would finish the race, in that time, right? Yep. So they were kind of near me, and he kind of was like a tour guide, right? And so he's telling them to walk and to run. And so we are coming from the contemporary, to kind of tap in basically. And so after we get through the entrance gates of Magic Kingdom, he goes, okay, guys, fun fact, the most famous, most popular turn is the Boston Marathon. It's a left turn onto Royal Street. I'm making up the street, right? And he's like, so that's the most famous. He's like, the second most famous turn is the right turn onto Main Street. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he's taking it. I'm like, I can't.
Yep.
Yeah, he was the second of all marathons, in the world, the second most popular is the right turn onto Main Street. And he's like, it's coming up. He's like, take it in. And I was just like, I'm done. I could go home now.
I can see why. I mean, you turn that corner and the castle is right there.
It's too much. It's too much.
And here come the tears.
I have so many tears. I mean, so many tears from pain.
This is why I paid $300 to look at this damn castle.
Exactly. Then we've seen how many photos are in our phone of the cat. It's like you're at Epcot, and I take another ball photo, and it's like, okay, how many? It's the same shot. I'm like, it's not. It's different.
It's not the same shot.
It's different.
This is the Run Disney shot.
This is the Run Disney shot. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So that was, it was chaos. It was amazing.
Chaos.
But you somehow did a park day after that?
Girl, I don't know how I did it.
It's can you talk to me? Because I was like, we're going to Animal Kingdom for some breakfast because I'm hungry, and then I'm going horizontal. But you were like, oh no, we're headed into Epcot. What was this park day? Well, this was your first park day.
This was my first park day. Well, let me rewind for a second.
Okay.
And tell you about the day before, because this is the reason why I was nervous for the race.
Okay.
So we drove.
Right.
We like to bring all of our shit with us. Okay. And we like to buy all the souvenirs.
Exactly.
And
all the
I
merch.
don't like to be pigeonholed with the airlines. Thank you very much. So we drove.
All merch.
All of it. Drove
from Virginia.
Virginia, we left when I got off work at 4:30. We left at like 6 that Friday.
Okay.
We drove through the night.
Okay.
And we always do it. We always
no stops.
Like no.
I mean no like
pee
stops. Just pee stops.
No stops.
Hotel or okay. Wow.
Straight through because we're on Disney High.
Yes.
Got down there Saturday. We did not have a park day Saturday. Saturday was Expo Day.
Expo Day. Got your bib.
Yep, got my bib.
Some photos. Got some merch.
Yep, feeling real good. Real good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Went to Disney Springs. This was probably 2:30-ish. Our friend Kayla was there. We're in World of Disney.
Okay.
And I started to feel...
Not the safest place, but...
I started to feel a little woozy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I thought like...
Because you did a lot. You drove through the night.
Yep. Drove through the night.
All the stimuli of the expo.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think I was coming down from it. And I thought I was hungry. I thought that's what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm just hungry. I got a random hot dog. Bad decision. At this booth in Disney Springs. Fine. We had a reservation for something at Sanaa.
Right.
So got on the bus. That's when things got real bad.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like sweating. Yeah. I got so nauseous. I'm like, I need to lay down. But the bus is packed. I'm like, I need to lay down.
Crowded, yeah.
Laid down in my fiance's lap. One in a bus full of children, laying down in a weird compromising position. It didn't look the best.
Sure.
But I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up all over this bus. I need to get off this bus. Get me off this fucking bus. I need to get off.
Yeah. And that adds to the panic. It adds to the,
I'm like, I can't be this person. I can't be this person that ruins someone else's vacation.
No.
I literally had to focus on like the tapping of my fingers. I just tapped my fingers. I'm like, that's all you focus on. Just focus, breathe through it,
Yeah, just breathe through it.
Got off the bus. I think the heat got to me. The exhaustion got to me.
All of it.
And
the adrenaline, the coming down from that. Mm-hmm.
Normally I'd be fine. Pre-MS, fine.
Yeah.
But this is why I was nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make it.
Like, right. Mm-hmm.
It took me the rest of the day
to even get back to any kind of baseline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we went to Sanaa.
No.
Didn't eat. Picked up some stuff. Got a ginger ale. That helped.
Okay. I can't believe you didn't get to eat that bread service.
I'm so pissed. I know. I got to it. They put us at a really nice table though, right by the window. Got to see all the animals. That was really nice. But I'm so mad.
But it's just you didn't get to. I think that's the thing with this disease is it comes out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
It decides when it's going to show up, and you just don't feel like you don't have any control. You don't. It's just it's so frustrating and infuriating, for me. And you're here in this magical place. You're trying to have those memories. You're only here for however many days. You spend all this money, just all of it. And you're not able to enjoy. There's been so many times where I can't even go, like everyone leaves and I'm still stuck in the hotel room by myself. Because I don't want to make anyone feel bad. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I was going to watch this anyway. I was just going to, and try to
get excuses,
not
all
a,
the
big thing. And everybody's out. Everyone's enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
And, here we are. It's so isolating.
It was such a disappointment because I'm like, I was so looking forward to Sanaa.
Yeah.
And the fact that happened, I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah. And so did you just go home and rest back to the what were you guys on property? Where were you guys staying?
Yeah, we were on property. We stayed at All-Star Movies.
Oh, nice.
All-Star Music. And the plan was for us to like walk around Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Right. Yeah. Because it's its own little amusement park in itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I have to go back. I have to go back.
That's
Literally went back to the room probably at like 5:00.
Okay.
Put on
took it down.
RuPaul's Drag Race. Me and my fiance looked at each other. I'm like, we're literally at Disney doing the same thing we could have been doing at home.
It's not the same.
I'm like, it's okay.
It's different.
Literally.
Listen, I love a good resort chill time, like that. I always say to, my friend Mike and Sway, they're my Disney kind of cohorts, like, we never do just a resort day, and there's such a, I really hope that you guys, when you maybe come back, that either you can add a day or, can you try to put it all in, because at Christmas time, I started doing Christmas at Disney with my mom and grandmother and my sister. And because my grandmother's in her 90s, we can't go hard in the park, so it's fully like a resort time. And we go to like different resorts for meals. And so we went to like Beaches and Cream. I had never had the ice cream kitchen sink sundae there. Just all these foodie, Disney foodie things, and have just resort experiences the whole time that we're there versus the park. And that's just as lovely too. So I implore you to add that into the agenda.
Yes, that when we go back, we're definitely going to add in some like rest days.
You have to, because so you learned that even before, and so when you actually got to the park,
I thought that was a fluke because I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
So I was on the runner's high.
Yep.
Everything was going real good until we got to the Mexico Pavilion.
I can't. When you were like, I'm just sitting here eating dry nachos.
That's exactly what happened to me. It hit me. I'm like, oh God, here it is.
Yep.
My friend, nausea. It's back. I got the sweats. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. There's too many people. I'm like feeling so nauseous. He's like, let's just go on Three Caballeros. It's cool. I'm like, okay. Okay. Standing in line. I'm like, no. My head is like pounding. I'm sweating. I could like have an accident right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got on the ride. Couldn't even enjoy it.
No, especially because it's water and you're, you just kind of need to be still, and
yep. So we went to, and let me just tell you, I didn't realize that all of the food booths were going to be closed because they were in between the festivals. So the lines for food were insane. We got Mexican
because you got all the runners in town. Like it was chaos that weekend.
It was very, very busy. We got Mexican. He got these yummy, delicious tacos. And I got dry nachos and a ginger ale.
Listen, when you I was like, well, I was going to send you a picture. I was in Hollywood Studios one day and lost it on Slinky Dog, like unwell, like legs went out, and so they were headed to Toy Story Mania. And I was like, I guess I'm just going to sit at Woody's lunchbox and eat these nasty tater tots and sit here by myself in timeout. And so when you said you were eating these nachos, I was like, yep, you're in timeout. So you're in Disney timeout. That's what that
Disney
is.
timeout. I was in Disney timeout eating these dry ass nachos and a ginger ale that I paid $20 for. I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Exactly.
This is horrible.
It's the Disney timeout.
But you know what? After like an hour and a half, the life came back into me.
It comes back.
It comes back. And after that, we scheduled break times between the hours of 2 and 4. Shade time.
Yep.
Easy time.
Either indoors or snack time. Like there's that peak sun I'm not out in it.
Nope.
It is scheduled that we are either there's a reservation or we are in Soaring, somewhere where we're inside, and I think that's the thing. And this goes for people that are healthy. You have to listen to your body.
Yeah.
And the way that we push, and I'm a pusher, and I'm okay. Let me do this, one more thing. But we have to listen to her. If we listened more, we wouldn't necessarily find ourselves. I think our personalities in some of the situations we're in with our MS, and I really took that with me with the marathon. Like, I woke up, I think when I was texting you, I was like, he's going to think I'm crazy, because I got up probably at midnight to have a full breakfast so that I could take my medicine and let it sink in. Yeah. I did like 40 minutes of stretching. There were just all of these things that I did to like set myself up to not be disappointed or be in a Disney timeout, right? And I think we have to do that now more. And it's not fair that we have to, but we can still enjoy Disney. We can still have all of these things. It's just different. It's different. It's just different. And I think, how did you feel about it? Like, reflecting on it now about that difference. I mean, from going from rope dropping to the end of the night, 4 parks in one day, which I'm sure you used to do, what are your thoughts on it? Now that you're home, in terms of what Disney now has to look like?
I think for me, it's a blessing, because it's forcing me to slow down a little bit and take it all in. Like, during those like 2 hours of just like taking it easy, I got to have, I learned this when we were in Hollywood Studios. I'm like, all right, we're going to schedule in our break time. I got to have a Mickey pretzel, which I never got to have before.
See? Yes.
And I got a really fun slushie, and I got to sit, and it's at the restaurant, not a restaurant, the quick service by Tower of Terror.
Oh, I gotcha. Like where
that little area is.
Like little mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Anaheim.
The nice fans were going. I got to people watch. We got to take it easy. I'm like, okay. And then when the sun started to go down, I'm like, all right,
let's pick it back up.
Now we go again.
Now we go. I mean, I think that's the thing. I've found that I've had so much more quality time with people in the parks, because when we take those breaks, we're catching up and we're actually talking, versus just looking at our app about what the next lightning lane, is the Disney tech of it all. And so
exactly,
you're having more meaningful conversations, and, even sometimes I've had to take a full break, like back to the hotel nap, like especially in Florida, it gets to over 100 degrees. Those days, it could be 10 a.m. And it's brutal. So, that peak time is back, sit in the pool, go back, later. It's not the same kind of day, but
yeah. I mean, I look at it now, I'm like, I don't think summer is in the cards. Like an August, October, Mickey's Not So Scary. I don't think that's in the cards anymore.
No,
I don't think I'd be able to get. No. It's hot, just morning to night. It's just hot.
It's literally, even at night, the sun sets, it's still 85 degrees, and so I would never. If I didn't live here, where it's like, okay, I'm going to go for an hour or something like that. I would never plan a vacation.
Yep.
Now having MS. In the summer, I don't expect to. I will look at you like you're crazy if I see that you're down here in July. I'm like, what are you doing? Because then you're just wasting your money at that point.
Exactly.
Because you can't enjoy it.
I'd be miserable.
You'd be miserable.
I'd be sick all the time, like nauseous from morning to night.
Morning to night. I mean, because it's immediate. I walk my dog. It doesn't just
happen.
Like maybe 6 a.m. is when she doesn't even get walked that much, because I can't walk her, or I'll have to do a wag, or, have a friend kind of come, because it's like 6 a.m. and like 8:30 p.m. or when I can take her out when it's summer here, because I usually go back to LA or Chicago because it's just more mild. Heat for us is not a friend.
I think this trip also was the very eye-opening, I really do have MS.
Yeah.
It's really...
When it really...
This is real.
This is it. Like, this is actually something I have.
This is something I have because I've been to Disney when it's like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was completely fine.
I mean, we're miserable, but we're not.
I'm like, I'm not miserable and sweaty, but,
right, but
I wasn't like
we're still there
gonna
morning
throw
and night.
up on a Disney bus.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It's a very, I really do have MS.
Yeah.
And the way I Disney now looks different.
It's different. It's different.
But it's okay. February's cool and nice, and I'm okay with that.
Just come on in the wintertime, get a break from Virginia, like get a break from the cold. And so I think that's what I love about your energy and your spirit. It's what I try to do too, is to just look at, the positive and to try to stay in gratitude and knowing that there's another way. It might not be the way that it was, but there's another way for us. We can have all the things. We can do all the things.
All the things.
All the things.
Do it all.
And do it all. And that's why this half marathon was so important to me, was just for myself to know that I can do anything. We can do anything. It's just different. We might have to set it up, in a different way. So no, I can't necessarily get there right at 5, like that's not what it's going to look like, but we can do it. Yeah. And we're going to beat the balloon ladies.
You're going to beat those damn balloon ladies, and you're going to get that damn medal.
Exactly. So are you going to do this again? That's what I was going to say.
Jinx. Would I do it again? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I will say.
Talk to me what you're what has you on the fence?
It was a lot. It was waking up at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a true vacation like we used to.
Yes.
Because like
you go to bed early the night before. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Everything was around that schedule.
It was all around Run Disney.
Yes.
So my fiance, he's like, if you're going to do this again, you're going by yourself.
Well, right, because he was just waiting for you, right? Hours,
Yep. And the day before,
you wrapped up early, you were in bed, you weren't doing,
no park. We enjoy doing the park first time we get to there. We're like, get in the room, hit the park. Didn't do that. We went to the expo, which that was more of a me thing. The merch there was a me thing. Like, he's not going to buy a Run Disney anything. Like, what? And then going to bed at like 5 p.m.
Exactly. Right.
And then he's like, well, I have to get up at 2 a.m. because I need to go and cheer. I'm like, yeah, you do.
You do. I expect to see you there, boo.
So would I do it again? Yes. Would I do it again anytime soon? No.
Well, I will just put this into your like little hat. You always have a place to stay here. So if you did decide to do it again and you were solo, or even if you did bring the boo, like it doesn't have to necessarily be the full
experience.
Experience, and it could just be this great Disney moment. And we are going to bed early, and we still have one or two park days, but you just kind of come and stay with a friend. Rather than
hint, nudge, nudge. I will say the one person that I met, not the one, I met many people, but one of the people that I met in line at Soarin' did the race, and they said that the wine and dine is the best one because there's an after party.
That's what I heard. That's why I was like, I think we might have to do this. And I'm like,
I love an after party, and it's an exclusive after party for only half marathoners. Yeah. And they can bring a +1.
I know. I think
I would do that one.
This month is registration, I believe. Yeah. I'm gonna not that you care, but I'm putting this in the show notes as well. Registrations, but I'm gonna look this up because I think we need to.
I would do that one.
I think we need to.
I would do that.
I think it's our duty to assess and compare. We can have you back on and share the differences. But I'm all about an after party. Anything that's Disney exclusive, I'm like, sign me up.
That's included in your race price,
which doesn't normally happen with Disney.
No, it does not.
The mouse takes a lot.
It's like an after hours because I heard you can still ride the rides too.
Yes, correct.
I'm like, what?
So there's no lines, no lightning lane. Like you just like get right on.
Guardians of the Galaxy over and over and over again.
Now my nausea with that one. It's like, I would just like take deep breaths. But I love it. It's still my, September's my favorite song.
Me too. We didn't get it. We wrote it twice. Didn't get it.
Conga? That's my next one.
No, we got I'm gonna get you.
Oh yeah, one. Wait, Coyote Ugly. That's what I was thinking.
Yes. But we got it the same song back to back.
Oh, come on.
I know.
That's not fun.
That was a little disappointing, but
yeah.
Oh well.
I'm gonna have to get you. I don't like this every other year thing. I'm thinking I need to see you again this fall. So,
we need to make that happen.
I'm gonna stay on you on that. We're gonna circle back on that one.
Let's put a pin in it for now and revisit it.
No, but I just, like I said, I couldn't wait for everybody to just hear kind of both of our different experiences and looking at it, and then things that were so similar in terms of living with this, and just I love how you're thriving, in spite of, and I just want you to stay encouraged. And I love what your ER doctor. I think that's a great message for those of you that are listening that are newly diagnosed. Is there anything else that you maybe would want to say to folks that are just learning about this new normal that is about to be their life now?
It's not the end of the road, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
Anything.
It's not a death sentence.
Not at all. It isn't. I mean, that's where I came up with it. It's a journey to hope. I mean, we just have to stay faithful, stay hope. We have to stay in it. We just have to keep showing up.
Yep.
And it's okay to have those hard days too.
Yeah, it's okay to have hard days, and it's okay for things to look different.
Right. We have to let that go. I think I held on so much to what my life was pre-MS, and that's where that anger, that resentment, that's where all that comes from is, but you just have to really let it go. And the only thing my therapist always says that's constant is change. Life is, it's just always changing. And so this change, it's not fair. I'll never say that it was fair. It's never easy, but it's something that we can manage and we can handle it.
100%. You can do anything you put your mind to. We can do hard things.
Yes.
Look at us. We ran a half marathon.
You did. And now you're back home.
And now I'm back home. Going through Disney depression.
I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Kyle. This was just, we could just talk Disney.
I know.
On. I love it. But I'm going to have everyone, where can we find you? Where can folks follow you?
You can follow me on both of my Instagram channels at The Real Kyle Steven or at Kyle's MS Journey.
Great.
And if you want to follow me on YouTube, I haven't made YouTube videos in quite a while. We're in a exploratory phase right now.
Yes.
But Kyle Steven, Stephen, on YouTube.
Perfect.
About housewives and Disney.
There. I mean, it's timeless info for me, so I feel like I should check that out as well. And I'll include that as well in the show notes. Thank you, my love. Until next time, you guys, and make sure to give yourself grace, as always.
100%.